Hello and welcome to TNA Top 10 for December, 19th? We
19th.
moved it around a little bit.
Yep.
2024. I'm your host, T Weave. With me, as always, is Allison Faye
Hi.
and Andrew.
What up? What up? What up? It's December 19th. All your Christmas shopping is not done because you all
It's
suck.
not. I barely started.
I got my last thing tonight.
What the hell did we ever do without Amazon?
I don't know, but it's the easiest thing ever.
I'll tell you, it was a hell of a lot worse because I used to hate crowds. So I used to go like 8 o'clock in the morning to the stores.
All of your presents came unwrapped. Blame Amazon. Don't blame Andrew.
Problem is, I get a big Amazon package like I did today at my doorstep. I've got to either figure out which of the things that I ordered that it is, or ask all my friends, "Hey, did you get me something from Amazon?"
I don't think yours showed up yet. Both of you have a larger gift that is supposed to show up soon.
No, I had a big box with 5 different things in it today.
But all stuff you ordered.
That I ordered, yeah.
Gotcha.
That Santa ordered.
Santa ordered, yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, Santa Claus. Because we don't kill the Christmas magic like MJF did last night.
About 3 years ago, I had to have the talk with Lex that he wasn't going to get presents from Santa and Mom anymore. Santa and I were working together.
I need to put a banner on here. You're throwing stuff out there big time here.
What? Santa and Mom are now working together, I said.
Okay.
I hope kids don't watch the show, Terry, if that's what you were implying.
I know. I'm like, hello. Excuse me. Santa is alive and well in this house. Thank you very much.
We are rated E for everyone. As a reminder, that's what I tell people, but that's probably not why we're rated E for everyone. Alex Wheaton is here. Merry Christmas, Alex. Thank you for finding us. We know Facebook has been a little difficult, and if you all can spread the word, like, subscribe, and share, this is the reason why we cannot broadcast on Facebook till we hit an X threshold, which is apparently new, and that's why we're on YouTube. We don't have the threshold, so...
Nor are we trying really hard for it.
But
No, but here's the thing, Terry, and you know it as well as I do. We prefer quality over quantity. I don't need a bunch of bots. I don't need a bunch of whatever following us. So people like Alex that mean it, follow us, like our account, join us, participate in the polls. They matter, not everybody else. So Facebook can fuck off. Now that we got
what we need to do is find all those friends that we have that have 19 Facebook accounts.
Yes.
And convince them to follow us. That way they'll keep following us every time they create a new one.
Correct. That is also the way. See, this is the way things work these days, folks. You have to manipulate the system because Mark Zuckerberg hates us.
Yes.
And I never even did anything to his liberal ass, but whatever.
Okay.
All righty.
I bet you he's on the Diddy list.
What are we even talking? It's been so long. I forgot how to do this. What are we talking about tonight?
Well,
I know one thing.
Is he on the Diddy list?
I was going to.
Is Terry wrapping me up?
No. I was just going to say one of the reasons that we had to move the schedule this week is because I was in Las Vegas.
Humble brag. Not so humble brag.
Not so humble brag. I didn't use all of my I get 5 weeks of vacation. Thank you very much, because next year is my 25th year at my company here in Connecticut. So I had 6 days of vacation I hadn't used by the end of the year because I unintentionally became important this year. So I had to work a lot more than I usually do. So I was like, well, I'm not giving you those days back. So you guys know this because you've come with me. Vegas is my happy place. So I went. I took a solo trip. It was phenomenal. But here comes my producer's piss segment.
Uh-oh.
And I texted you right after it happened to tell you I now have a producer's piss segment. It happened when my plane landed in Boston, when my return plane landed.
Is that Logan?
Yes, Logan.
Okay.
We stand up, start getting our bags out, everybody, it was a half full flight, so it was great. All of a sudden, from the back of the plane, this guy... What?
Half full during the holidays?
Yeah. Yeah. So my plane there was full because I flew on a Friday, but coming back on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are pretty dead to come back from Vegas. And it was a straight flight.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I was thrilled. I had, no middle seat. It was great. But this guy comes barreling up the middle aisle, and he's older. So I'm thinking, all right, he must, need the bathroom or something. So I'm a little ticked off, but I'm like, all right, dude must need something, right? Well, the couple in front of me, older couple as well, stops, turns around and goes, "Can I help you?"
Oh.
And I'm like, my new role models. I love it. And he's like, "Well, I need to go see my brother." And they're like, "And where is he?" "Well, he's over there, 2 aisles up." Right? So they're like, "Oh, what's going 2 aisles up now gonna save you?" "I just, we have to be together." And she's like, "Well, you probably should have booked seats next to each other." And I'm dying at this point. Well, this guy gets pissed, right? And starts yelling at them on the plane. "Who the hell do you think you are? Why wouldn't you?" And they turn right back around and they're like, "Who the hell do you think you are?"
Like, go sit back where you were.
Yeah.
We'll send your brother back to you.
Well, we kept making, so now this happened, and then everybody around us started making jokes about the guy because we were like, "Oh, maybe I can move up an aisle. I'll get off the plane 30 seconds quicker." "Ooh, if you don't let me out, I'm gonna start yelling at you and ask you if you know who I am." But I was like, dude, get the.
I am about efficiency getting off of an airplane, but I also used to play defensive tackle. So if I decide that I'm going to get in the way, your ass is not going to move me.
Well, that's the part that I loved about the couple in front of me that stopped them. They could not have at all. But they were just like, "Yeah, this is not happening, sir." No. That was great.
Allison loved when I throw the darts. Like the person did. "Can I help you?" "Oh, you're there. What happened?" And
I
Terry
only take a backpack. I only take a backpack on just for that purpose. I don't have to get anything out of the overhead. Don't have to bother with going back.
Andrew doesn't check bags, so he always has to.
I have been on the hunt for the perfect bag.
You haven't found it?
For Florida.
Yes,
I think so.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you hadn't, I'll buy you another Christmas present.
No, don't worry about that. I've been shopping, I've been comparing, and I'm trying to find the one where you can get 10 days worth of clothes.
But you're going for 6.
I know. We're gonna go out and eat and all that.
Gotta have choices.
I'm work it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly. So
and
you can
twice as many pair of underwear as you think you need.
Well, it's Tampa and it's sweaty, Tampa. And nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be checking a bag.
I will not, because I refuse. Have you seen the way TSA treats your bags?
Yeah.
You've seen them when you unpack them. You've seen them break the lining and the plastic. I'm the guy that's going to compose a 5-page email to TSA when they break my shit when we come back from Costa Rica. Because I will.
And madams.
I'm talking about Paul Heyman. Ladies and gentlemen. Did you really find it necessary to throw that son of a bitch? And when you see some of the, I send you guys reels, you see that on Instagram when them coming off the plane and they're just doing the tumble. And I'm like, no, we're not doing all that. So to Allison's point, yes, I have successfully not checked a bag in a decade.
That's insane.
A decade of flying. I have not checked a bag. And they'll tell you, I've worn suits, I've worn, shoes. I've managed to not check a bag.
Amazing.
I've checked a bag on a 1-day trip because I do it every damn time.
Terry is that person, and I am not.
I am not in Walmart looking for tiny little bottles of stuff. Ain't gonna happen.
Oh, I'm that guy. I buy the whole pack. When I'm done with the pack for the week, I throw it in the trash can. True story. Plus, most hotels, if you're staying at a nice place, they actually provide you with the shampoo, the lotion,
and good stuff.
Not usually toothpaste, but you get a lot of.
I got this trip. I got bath gel, razors, toothbrush. Anything you could think of. They had it in the room. They had a bath
pillows.
Yeah, well, most
not to prolong this segment, but Terry just said something about a pillow. But we're going to get there in a second. Hold on, I'll show you. But the other thing is that We want to
where you're going with
Did he get a pillow for last year's Christmas present? Is that what
I got a pillowcase. We want to encourage our audience because we are here because caring is sharing and sharing is caring. Look into B&B's, bed and breakfast, because Allison looked into an Airbnb.
Oh, Airbnb, yeah.
Yeah, look into Airbnbs. We found a very, very, very nice Airbnb for over half
Less
of
than
the
half.
discount. Yeah, 50% less than you could rent a hotel in Tampa during spring training.
And we got a whole house.
Rules that they set out.
No, this is not. It's
we
checked
reviewed
before
them.
we checked in.
Nick Saban is not the homeowner, Terry. You don't have to worry about that. But look at this. I don't know if it'll show. Hold on.
Oh, and you got a new neck pillow.
Yes. Hold on. Got to fold it.
How does it work? Does it work
so
well?
You see the top? That's where the neck sits, so that you keep your airway above the bottom of your mouth above your airway, and you don't get sleep apnea. So you don't have to wear them stupid machines. It was from China, no import because Trump isn't president yet. But
does it work?
No tariffs. Huh?
Is it good?
I don't know. It just came in.
Oh, okay.
But I got it from the non-COVID province. It's one of those words I can't pronounce. If it's not Kung Pao or General Tso's, I don't know how to say anything in Chinese. So there's that. And these two are shaking their heads because they're like, "Here he goes."
Please let me know if it works because I could use that.
Yeah, it's Jesus' birthday, and I am not behaving, Terry. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, I'm saying I remember getting you a pillowcase for a large pillow. And I think you need to put that pillowcase on that thing when you.
That is not nearly large enough of a pillow. I would need two to sleep with Max. Terry got me a Max Casper.
You still don't have a body pillow?
Huh?
You don't have a body pillow?
Hmm.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, I know. So we're not spooning together tonight. But anyway. See, I told you, I know it's Jesus' birthday this week, next week, but that's for the later segment in the show when I tell you why all your Christmas music sucks. Oh, yes. And I really like the donkey song.
Okay, stop it. Just stop right now.
We're going to get a live
started this early.
Terry. We start singing Dominic the Donkey.
No, it wasn't funny though. When I sent this to you guys, I'm leaving the house. Was it yesterday?
I think it was yesterday.
I'm listening to Casio on the radio, and he's playing that song, and I'm like, "Oh, I've got to video this and send it to Allison." Did you hit play on that, Allison?
Oh, I certainly did. I heard it.
Y'all
are going to make me single here. You realize that?
Stop it. Where's Frankie?
That's like an Italian staple right there.
Frankie's not watching?
I'm sure he is.
Not yet. He comes in fashionably late.
What's wrong with him?
He's still working right now.
Let's talk about wrapping Christmas presents real quick. Who the hell does that? Anyone?
I haven't yet. I'm about to.
I've done Lex's, but I haven't done anybody else.
I'm going to take anything you guys got me and wrap over that and put it under my tree. Because I'm really at a low number of presents under the tree this year. So.
Oh, I gotcha.
So it'll make it look a little bulkier.
I'm a believer in gift bags. I'm a very good gift giver when I think about it, but I'm also a very bad gift giver. If it's a last minute thing, you're getting a gift card and you're getting a bag, but I will write you a nice card to go along with it. I don't wrap Christmas presents. It looks like the Tyrannosaurus Rex did it when they get done. And, well, they don't have thumbs, so that's kind of what
I will say this, that I bought
some, it's like me right now.
I bought some wrapping paper recently. Zoe's daughter was selling it. So bought something from her, and I got a nice little video from her with saying my name and thank you and Merry Christmas.
Oh, that's
so
sweet.
Sweet.
That's sweet.
Way to go, Zoe's daughter. Yay.
You know what else is sweet, Allison?
What?
Max Fried is a Yankee.
Yes.
$218 million for 8 years. Terry.
Spend that money on pitchers. Yes.
Devin Williams traded from Milwaukee. Nestor is gone. We got Williams, the closer. And they also closed on the legacy Yankee yesterday. Alex, his dad played for the Yankees.
Oh, yeah. Bellinger.
Bellinger.
Not Alex. Not Clay.
Clay. Is it Clay?
Yeah.
Or is Clay his dad? No.
Cody.
No, Clay.
Clay.
Cody.
Clay used to play.
Clay is the dad. Crap.
Clay is the
now
dad.
I feel terrible. I'm supposed to know baseball stuff.
Cody Bellinger. It's Cody Bellinger. He's going to play first place in outfield.
Played in the Little League World Series and all that stuff.
It looks like he'll be replacing Judge at center or potentially playing first. Judge is moving back to right.
Right.
Point being, the Yankees have spent money well after they got out of the Juan Soto race. Those 3 players, total salary, $45 million. Juan Soto, $51 million.
Yeah. Smart move. And I'm
pretty soon that's what it's going to be get a quarterback in the transfer portal.
What have we complained about, though, seriously, as Yankees fans, Allison?
Pitching.
Defense and the failure in pitching.
Correct.
Yeah, not being able to close it down.
Yeah. We have no problem with the hitting. None.
Poor Terry's team, the Braves just got worse because Fried's gone.
That doesn't, this is the pattern. The Braves go get a guy like Chris Sale that everybody's given up on, and he comes in and dominates. That's the Braves' MO. They don't keep these young guys forever.
Well, Clay Holmes went to the Mets, so you're out on him. But he would have been a great candidate for what you just said, because he, as I like to say to Allison, was a liability on the bump. That man, you didn't know what you were going to get. He was a liability. He was not an asset. But no, that's good baseball talk. Guess what, guys? 98 days.
I'm so excited.
98 days to opening day. You know how Allison has the chirp counter, Terry?
Mm-hmm.
I have the baseball counter.
Okay.
Thanks to Talking Yanks.
Yeah.
When do you guys get on a plane to head down?
The 14th of March.
14th of March.
Yeah, so there's another thing. Let's go ahead and tangent this real quick. Why does anybody think I want to make a stop when I'm flying from Raleigh to Tampa?
No.
You don't want to go through Atlanta?
I don't need to go through Atlanta. I don't need to go through Charlotte. I think Boston was a suggestion. Maybe Nashville. And I'm
Denver.
like, what are we doing?
Raleigh to Denver to Florida?
Yeah. No. It's stupid. And it doesn't save you any money. That's the other thing. It's not like stopping is going to save you anything. But what doesn't need saving is our beloved WWE. I know Terry watched. I know Allison watched. I watched. And hopefully our audience watched. Terry's going to get involved in this discussion. He actually watched the wrestling, folks.
Nice.
Saturday night's main event for the first time in what? 15, 18 years, something like that.
Yeah, they brought it. I don't know how many shows they had when they brought it back the first time, but I thought this was a great effort.
I thought it was so cool, old school. That's where we should start, probably.
Not as cheesy as I really wanted, but I really knew that was asking too much.
Allison?
So I'm gonna I'm probably going to catch some hate for this, but that's fine. I also enjoy the old school stuff, except for Jesse. He was not. Yeah, I know, but
he wasn't the same.
He wasn't. It's not that he wasn't the same. It's like he was watching one show and everybody else was watching the wrestling. I hate
he said Liv Morgan at one point.
Yeah, it was just. It was rough. It was. I was happy to see him, thrilled, but that should have been it.
Well, Allison Faye, he also lost a lung in the Gulf of Tonkin for you. So, yeah, there you go. Listen here, McMahon. That's the thing that you're missing is no Gorilla, no Vince.
Yeah, well, yeah. But there's
Vince, for obvious reasons, Gorilla's dead. But, I mean, you know.
Well, obvious reasons there.
Obvious reasons.
But Vinnie Mac, he's his lawsuit is going to proceed according to the Second District Court of New York, Southern District. Yeah. So they're going to proceed with the lawsuit, but that has nothing to do with this other than that was on Peacock. It was on NBC. I think I saw 1.6 million was the number. Decent number, but they weren't up against anybody.
No.
It was a glorified house show. Call it what it is. But it was a good house show, in my opinion, presentation-wise.
Absolutely.
You want to start off with Drew and Sammy. Good match. Nice tempo.
To be honest, we can talk about the matches, but I didn't pay much attention to the matches. I was really all about the theme, how they went about stuff. The matches were okay, but no, I enjoyed myself. I was glad it was back. So you're going to say a lot. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say I had a lot of nostalgia because this was in my hometown. Like, this was where I grew up. This was in Long Island. It was
the most magical place on earth.
No, I'm not saying that, but that's where I started going to watch wrestling. So, like Terry, I was very nostalgic watching it. I was like, this is amazing. So I only want to talk about one match for me. If you're, give me that 3 seconds. Okay. I was thrilled to watch the Michin Chelsea Green match.
Yeah, women's mid-card title. Good match.
I thought it was
bumpy match.
Bumpy match, but I really enjoyed the presentation and everything about it. And I thought Chelsea Green was a good choice to win, I think.
The fans have come to her side. Whether, you like her or not, meaning I'm not saying you, but I mean, people like her or not, or didn't like her originally, she has won the audience over. She also has done everything this company has asked of her.
Correct.
She took some hellacious bumps this year. If you remember the table bump in Canada, the Canadian pay-per-view was that wasn't TLC. That was Money in the Bank, where she took that table bump. She took the table bump. So she did a really nice showing for herself, and she's the right level of professional wrestler at this point to carry that title.
Exactly.
It needs to be a title that's elevating the ladies to be ready for the next matchup. I don't think it needs to be something that is a throwaway. I think they can really put some effort into this and make it work. And it did happen on Saturday night's main event, which makes it historic for them.
Correct. Absolutely.
So I really like the choice of Chelsea Green. I didn't think Michin was going to win. I honestly didn't. I didn't think.
Neither did I.
I never thought they were going to put it on her. If you want to be honest, I went 5 for 5 on the card because it was a little obvious. Yes. Drew McIntyre's on his revenge tour. Sami Zayn was first. It'll be Jimmy Nick or Jay next, and then at some point it sounds like they're going to end up going after Roman. Roman, of course, it was announced is going to have a tribal combat match with Solo on the first Raw. CM Punk is going to take on Rollins on the first Raw. We may see Mommy and Liv Morgan on the first Raw. So they are stacking that.
Yeah.
But your door cost to get into the Raw right now, nosebleed seats, is over $350.
I have a question. Is Raw still only going to be 2 hours?
3.
Okay, so they're going to bring it back to 3.
SmackDown is going to be 3 on USA. Raw is going to be 3 on Netflix.
Oh, wow. Really?
The beauty of it being on Netflix is they can do 2, 2.5, 3. I mean, they can.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. There's no stopping point. That's really great.
Well, and that's the one thing where they did the Kevin Owens angle. Again, we see an attack after the match, gets put on social media. He hit the package pile driver on Cody. Cody's taking time off. Owens has the winged eagle after losing the match. Cody uses the chair, then throws the chair right next to the referee who counts 3 count. I'm like, that was the one spot. I was like, you guys can't be doing that nonsense. But anyway, it works. It works. It's fine. It's okay. Liv Morgan and Io was what it was. It was a good match. It was a good wrestling match.
Yep.
But this is about Mommy. At some point, they're going to pull the ripcord, no pun intended, and they're going to put the title on Rhea Ripley. And
as they should.
Gunther, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor was what it was. But I love the shotgun drop kick into the powerbomb by Gunther at the end there after he powerbombs Priest on the stairs. Really, really smart booking. But they need to make Gunther a killer. It's about like what they did last night on AEW, which I'm sure we're going to get to, when they let that fucking Temu Sting beat Will Ospreay. But yeah, I said that right, Terry. Will Ospreay lost to Darby.
No, I was watching.
It's horrible.
Just
horrible booking.
But all right, wait. I'll save it till we get to AEW.
Well, Kevin Owens has got the Winged Eagle belt, the replica.
Yeah, I know. I thought.
You know,
the horrible replica, by the way, because the minute I saw it, the minute I saw the belt, I'm like, really? You had to use a brand new replica.
Like, I don't think you give yourself enough credit, though. You identified it so quickly because of who you used to be partnered with.
That is true. That is very true. Mark taught me a lot about title belts. Yes,
but he'd have shit all over it too, I'm sure.
Oh God, absolutely, 100%.
I mean, it was a good looking belt. Don't get me wrong, but it was very clear that thing got broken out of the plastic 10 seconds before they sent it out.
I'm pretty sure I texted you within like 3 minutes of me seeing it when I watched it the next day.
Well, and we all knew what it was. Right. I mean, they teased it, but we all knew what it was. And again, Terry, to your point, that's the nostalgia. For anybody playing along at home, February 5th, 1988, the Winged Eagle made its first appearance on Saturday night's main event. That was the night Hulk Hogan lost the world title after having it for over 4 years, winning it from the Sheik at Madison Square Garden. And he lost it thanks to twin referees, to Andre the Giant, who then gave it to the $1 Million Man. So, $1 Million Man actually
called it the World Tag Belt and gave it to
the the World Tag Belt was great. Then he defended it a couple times, but then it was stripped, and of course you get to Savage and the Mega Powers and all that. But that Winged Eagle made its first appearance on Saturday Night Main Event. That Saturday night's main event, the Winged Eagle made its appearance on, 33 million viewers.
Wow.
33 million viewers.
Okay.
So the 1.6 that they got Saturday was nothing comparatively to watching Hulk Andre and $1 Million Man and the twin referees. So, but anyway, overall, I thought it was a good show. There was a couple botch spots. Loved the finish of the women's U.S. title match.
Yeah,
that unprettier, that transition into that move was awesome.
That was so nice.
It was so nice. I just don't, like I said, it was another WWE pay-per-view or event. And for me, that means it was just average. There was nothing super spectacular on this. It was all storytelling. It was all building to the next thing. And that's something WWE's gotten really good at. Go ahead, Terry.
Well, I hope that this first one, they just said, here's what it's going to be like. And then when they have the second one, they have something happen at the second one that is a storyline to talk about.
I'm waiting for Kevin Owens to take a hammer to that Winged Eagle, like Mr. Perfect did to Hogan. So
I could see it.
But that's what they do.
Right.
I mean, don't be looking at the timer. We're fine.
I am. I may be sick and dying, but I'm still like, all right, we gotta try.
We're fine.
I want you to yell at me about Christmas songs. I'm excited.
Oh God, it's gonna be good. So AEW is trash. Let's get there. AEW is garbage.
Okay.
They have Darby Allin beating Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Defend it.
No, I can't. I can't. I can't. And Fletcher lost to Mark Briscoe?
Yes, after beating three other people.
I'm sorry,
he's got
what?
9 points. Yeah.
Yeah, that was nuts. It made no sense whatsoever.
And Mark Briscoe did the job to Danny Garcia.
Yes.
And Okada and Garcia went to a draw. They got poor Mordos out there eating pins along with Commander, and you want to make it meaningful and impactful, put 6 guys in there that you believe could actually win.
Yeah.
Nobody believed Beast Mordos was winning this tournament.
No.
Ricochet does not need to talk. 3 times with the microphone last night was 3 times too many for Ricochet. He needs to go ahead and just join the Hurt Syndicate so that MVP can do the talking for him.
So I think
he tried.
My thought, the only reason we saw him beat Ospreay was we have this round robin style tournament. And they just had to make some matches not turn out the way you would normally make them turn out. And that's just part of it.
My problem is, and I had this discussion in another group, my problem is he's the best wrestler in the world. The best bout machine's coming back. And then arguably the other best wrestler in the world in Okada is there. And you are booking them like a bunch of jabronis. This is, quote, where the best wrestle. well, your company's not living up to that because Darby Allin, this is my other problem. He takes the hidden blade, which, let's face it, I get that we love 2 9/10 and all that crap kicking out of it. But when Will Ospreay throws that move, that hidden blade forearm, that should be lights out. Because there's no reason anybody should ever get up the way he delivers the shot, makes it look. So Darby kicks out. Okay, great. Then he kicked out of a freaking Styles clash from the apron. Or he didn't kick out. He got up from the 10 count at 9 9/10 or whatever you want to call it. That spot in itself is stupid, where you wait till the very last second to get into the ring. Well, the referee's counting to 10. That's dumb. And then he hits the coffin drop, which is a shit-ass move, and he hits it a second time. You know, I absolutely hated the sequence, and I hated the decision to beat Will Ospreay. They did the same thing to Kenny Omega, though. They started beating him. And Okada has not been booked as the Rainmaker since he became a full-time employee of Tony Khan. So, or full-time performer. Because I'm sure they're not employees. But if anybody cares. But that's where I'm at on that. And again, it's obvious they're trying to strap a rocket to Darby's ass. I don't get the fascination. I heard something earlier where somebody doesn't understand the appeal of dogs. That is atrocious. That is way outlandish. I don't get that. But Darby would be much more in line with the commentary that was made on dogs, because I don't get it. He is loud, and you need to care for him a lot, and he's going to need supervision, and he's going to hurt himself if you're not babysitting. I get all that. That's Darby. Because can you imagine the filters they have to tell that idiot, hey, no, you don't need to be taking that spot, that bump, that whatever. And that's where I'm at on it. Oh, and the Young Bucks returned to an event in California.
And Kenny's coming back.
The best bout machine.
The AEW?
AEW, yes.
Promo, yeah, they put the promo like he's actually coming back.
Promo, like he's. I know. Well, he had diverticulitis, which is no good. But then what I wanted to talk about with AEW was I think I saw the news today that they made a partnership with Max. Now I knew they had this for going forward for like the pay-per-views and stuff, but it seems like Max is now going to host the entire AEW library.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is
great. They haven't announced what the discounted rate for your pay-per-view will be, but supposedly that's part of it. So it's going to include past pay-per-views. So I don't think they're going to charge extra for it if you have a subscription to Max. That's the way I read it. That would be incredible because ESPN it would make sense. Yeah, ESPN Plus, you can order like your UFC fights through there. You get a discounted price, but you still have to pay for it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way I read it, and I could be wrong, but that would be amazing. That would be the thing is, I mean, and let's just face it, as wrestling fans, we're spoiled. Yes. $10 for premium Peacock is a hell of a lot easier to swallow than $50 once a month for AEW. Absolutely. Regardless of whether AEW delivers good matches. You're asking somebody to pay $50, that's $600 a year, or you're asking them to pay $120, exactly 20% of the cost, and you get every piece of premium content from WWE. And Saturday night's main event. Mm-hmm. Oh, and all the Notre Dame games, because you got to have the Peacock, Terry, to watch Notre Dame. We'll talk about that in the second hour. And how outrageous their ticket prices are. Oh, Lord. Oh, it's bad. They want, just because you may fall asleep before we get there, they want $450 to attend a game in South Bend on Friday night, where it's going to be the high of 31 degrees and snow and ice is in the forecast.
They can have it.
Crazy. Yeah. So, we're going to have to talk about Ohio State, too. That's funny. Yeah.
Well,
they gave too many of their tickets, Allison, to Tennessee. So do we have well, we don't need a ticket for what we're going to cover next, do we, Terry?
Well, what we're going to cover next is kind of a follow-on because it seems like a couple of weeks ago now because it's been a while. We talked about Christmas movies, but tonight Why don't we talk about Christmas songs?
What a good picture of the carolers.
Exactly.
Aww.
AI can do amazing things. They've got mittens on, so you can't tell how many fingers they have.
All right, let's go.
Again.
Are we ready?
So thanks everybody for voting. Like we always say, we said about 10 times. That's the first one. Why don't we get down to business? Number 10, Bing Crosby, I'll Be Home for Christmas.
I'll be
So
home
before we went live,
Christmas.
I had a background on, and it was Sir Bing Crosby.
Well, you know he's going to show up on this list.
Big fan.
We've got old people that vote. That's what this tells me.
Yeah, I was impressed with the voting on this one. I'll just say.
I want a hippopotamus just to sing that, and we got to sing about Allison's favorite Italian.
No, we don't.
Dominic the donkey.
Oh my God.
He's a python.
So anyway,
he's a friend of mine.
Yeah, I know. Lex,
not a friend of mine.
This is his genre of music. If you ask people what their favorite genre is, mine 90s pop. Lex's is Christmas music.
Okay. Seriously?
He has curated a playlist that is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. He loves the classics, but he throws in a whole bunch of new songs that he likes as well. But Bing Crosby, top of my list.
It's a good one.
All right. I wonder if he'll show up again in this top 10.
Hope so.
Number 9, Mary, Did You Know?
Mary, did you know?
Do not like this song.
Your baby. It's very, very churchy. So
imagine that.
Yeah. It's very churchy and not Greek church. This is Catholic church. Which apparently there's a difference. So I love this song, but that's me. So Terry, we didn't get to it because there's multiple people that sing Mary, Did You Know? As there's multiple people that sing I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Right. And I said Bing Crosby when I said number 10, but it's just the song itself, not necessarily him.
Right.
Well, it is on our show because we do what we want. Because remember, this is not your show. This is our show. Just for the record. Love you, James Elkarai. Anyway, Mary, Did You Know? There's multiple versions of the song. I very much enjoy this. Allison, why the dislike?
I'll be honest, I didn't hear this one a lot growing up.
That makes sense.
So for me, it's just a song I don't really know. To be honest.
Allison, Did You Know? Yeah.
No.
But the list is this could be our best list ever.
I think
it's pretty good so far.
Yeah.
What's number 8, Terry?
Number 8, Hallelujah.
Love this song.
That's not even fair. Because I don't think of Hallelujah as a Christmas song.
No, but if it's on the list, I gotta put it on my top 10.
Yeah. I mean, some of these are just I did take I always go online to see lists of how other people categorize these things. So this was included. Now I did take Auld Lang Syne out because that's a New Year's song.
That's a New Year's song. Yes.
So that was out of the list. But I listened to like the really old original version of this. I don't know if you've ever gone back that far, but it sounded nothing like Pentatonics. And the blind guy, what is his name?
Andrea Bocelli?
No. The blind guy that was in Roadhouse, the singer guy.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, he sings Angel Eyes.
Yes. What is his name? He's got a version of this.
Jay Giles?
No. Crap. Who?
Jay Giles is Centerfold, isn't it?
Oh, my goodness. Why can I not think
I know who it is.
Anyway, he's got a version of it too. And his version sounds like the Pentatonics version.
Really?
So somewhere along the way, he may have been the one that kind of changed it up.
Hallelujah.
Golly, this is killing me. All right.
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Golly.
That is not correct. The Jeff Healey Band.
Jeff Healey. Okay.
There you go. You're welcome.
I
know this.
He's from Roadhouse, and that's Dalton, y'all.
Dalton. I just watched the reboot of that. It was really good.
Oh man, what a great movie!
Great movie.
Gyllenhaal was he good?
No. I didn't say better.
No. The original. The original's great. I don't know about the new.
Yeah, I didn't say it was
business, Dad. Terry.
Oh, we need to do worst movie remakes.
Hell yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. That'll be good.
Yeah. All right.
But it's not number 7. Terry, what's number 7 on this
Number
rock star
7
list?
Do you hear what I hear?
I love this song.
Now, is this the one that's in Gremlins?
Oh, I don't know.
I think this plays in Gremlins. Like, it's a big deal.
Don't put water on the gremlin, Terry.
No, don't feed him after midnight, Terry. Did you buy Cyrus a gremlin for Christmas? Oh boy.
Well, it's not a gremlin that you guys have it wrong. The gremlin is after you've done this.
Oh, to the Mowgli, yeah. That's right.
What's it called?
Mowgli?
Mowgli?
That's the fuzzy.
That is way too close to Mowgli. We're naming stuff really similar. Anyway.
Wasn't that his name?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
His name was. Oh God, what was?
You're gonna make me look this up too. All right, hold on. Gremlin's name.
Well, you're the producer, right? So.
Yeah, I know. That's true. I should actually do something.
What was his name?
You want to know the little fuzzy thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the creature, not the type of creature, but what was his actual name? Gizmo.
Mogwai.
Okay.
Gizmo the Mogwai. Yeah.
Okay.
That was close.
Man, we could go on a tangent tonight.
Oof, could we?
Good
but this is a good song, slightly religious.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the different
It's another showing of Bing Crosby.
Yes, because he's the best.
Number 6, Baby It's Cold Outside.
Okay, you're canceled. I heard that's what I'm supposed to tell you. This is somehow offensive and about sexual assault.
No, fuck that. This is a good song. All right. I heard a great parody of this one today. It was like, maybe it's cold outside, but I got crab rangoons. Oh, well, why didn't you say so? Okay. I was laughing so hard.
Now, it does a little bit remind me of the character from Saturday Night Live that Christopher Walken did, where he's stopping her from leaving, you know?
The Cosmopolitan?
Wait, yeah, is that what he is?
Or the, what the hell is the name of that? Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
That's a good one.
Outside. So your father, he had a walk. Go walk.
But I like this. But this picture, it's like, I don't know. I don't know where this comes from.
I used to get
Continental. It was the Continental.
So
okay.
God,
yeah.
He may have been drinking a Cosmopolitan.
Anything with Christopher Walken, though.
Oh, hell yeah.
I know we're talking about Baby It's Cold Outside, but could you imagine? Baby, it's cold outside. Because you have to get the cadence right. Like the whole thing with Christopher Walken is you have to get the way he speaks. That's what matters.
I think you should ask for more cowbell.
Yeah, we need more cowbell. Baby, I got a fever.
Wonder if that song's on there.
We need more cowbell.
So good.
And I loved how he called them babies. And then Will Ferrell just banging that Blue Oyster Cult's one-hit wonder. Don't fear the Reaper. That'll be one too. At some point, we'll get back to it. Saturday Night Live skits, top 10 that we love.
Oh boy,
I like that.
Number 5, the Chipmunk song.
Oh. Who did this?
I grew up on the Chipmunks. I have every Chipmunk album. I have this one. I have Urban Chipmunk. I have Chipmunks in Hollywood.
Urban Chipmunk. What is this?
Urban Chipmunk is the country songs. That's how I learned my classic country songs was through Urban Chipmunk.
Oh, good Lord.
That sounds like the Muppets. They're just putting it on everything.
So it's like I Love a Rainy Night. Oh, Andrew, it's got Take Me Home, I believe, Country Roads. It's got Queen of Hearts. It's got
me and Pat McAfee be singing here in a minute with Rich Rod.
It's got it's so good. Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys.
Oh yeah, Waylon.
Oh, good Lord.
There was a lot of Waylon Willie in it.
So it's outlaw country. Christopherson, Willie, Waylon. Yeah. John Denver's the one who sang Country Road, by the way. Along, No.
I was married to a mountain. Trust me, I was married to a mountaineer. I know John Denver sings Country Roads. Yeah.
Past lives. Number 4.
My practice marriage.
All I Want for Christmas Is You. So this was named multiple different ways depending on who sings it. So I just kind of put Is You.
I don't want a lot for Christmas.
This is my mother's favorite Christmas song. She puts it on and dances around the kitchen while she does her baking.
The way Allison rolled her eyes, I knew I had to sing it. All I want for Christmas is you.
The only good thing about this song is when it's sung in Love Actually.
Oh, I thought you were going to say how hot Mariah Carey was back then when she first.
Well, yeah, she was hot. I mean, I'll give you that. Yeah, there's no denying that.
But everybody knows the song. That's the point. Like,
yeah,
I mean, everybody knows the song. So.
And you know it's coming.
And November 20, whatever, the day after Thanksgiving, it's going to be playing in every store.
There's that game to see how long you can go without hearing it naturally. Like, it's one of those, like time-based things. All right. Oh, I made it to December 10th. I was out November 27th, like that.
Or how long you can go into your life without hearing a song like Let It Go or something from one of these big movies.
Yeah.
Like I haven't heard it yet. I'm on a roll.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Wait, you really
Did
haven't
you just disparage?
No, I have. I'm just saying.
Okay, thank God.
I'm just saying at that point.
Okay, I was like, there is none of that.
I want to build a snowman here in a second.
Oh, but I watch too much TikTok now, so I've heard quite a bit from.
Oh, yeah, you have then.
From Wicked. Lately.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Number 3, Silent Night.
Multiple singers on this one. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I'm not a fan because most people butcher this song.
I was in the Christmas choir in church, and we always sang Silent Night when I was a kid.
All right.
So
good.
We always sang Silent Night.
I mean, it's a good song. I mean, it's up there. Not necessarily my favorite, but
yeah.
Josh Groban's version is very good.
Josh Groban, anything is good. He's fantastic.
He's got a great voice. Very good singer. But top 3, we are here. What's number 2? The runner-up, Terry.
Number 2, "O Come All Ye Faithful."
This is my number 1. I have no problem telling everybody this is my number 1. I love this song.
And I will say, I learned on this list, if you put the word O with just an O next to number 2, it looks like number 20.
Yep. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite song, Christmas song. Yeah. Traditional. Yes, it's churchy. I get it. But yeah, my song.
All right. It's another good one. Not necessarily my favorite one, but
number 1, I want a hippopotamus.
No.
You know it's the donkey.
It better freaking
Oh, is it Dominic? He's a pie.
I will punch somebody.
Snowman, what it should be. But Dominic, what it actually is, number 1, "Oh Holy Night."
Okay, so this was my number 1.
Yeah. I think it's multiple people's number 1.
It's when done right.
Pretty sure.
When this is done right, this is a beautiful fucking song.
Right.
Beautiful. You are correct. All of the songs were good on this list. I mean, we joke about Dominic the Donkey because Allison's significant other loves it. And Dominic is a friend of ours. And let's not forget about a hippopotamus. Amy Vaughn hates I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. I'm going to say that in a loud, clear voice.
She went on record last week on their show.
And what did that poor little girl ever do to her? But anyway, apparently Olivia never wanted a hippopotamus for Christmas.
See, I think my issue is some of the songs that I don't like kind of have a theme. I don't like I Want a Hippopotamus. I don't like Dominic the Donkey. I don't like All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth. Well, I hate that one because I
don't even know that I put that as an option.
You did. I hate it because I had no 2 front teeth for 5 years because I knocked them out for 4 years. Yeah. I knocked my top 2.
Yeah, Jingle Bell made the list. Jingle Bell Rock made the list, and it didn't get any votes, or didn't get these votes anyway. Terry has yet to add options receiving votes or whatever,
No,
but I will say, if we had done the show on Monday, the Grinch song would have made the top 10. but
Really?
voters after that pushed it out of the top 10.
Wow.
You're the cruel one.
And that's a good song.
Grinch. That's a fun song. Yeah.
It's a fun song.
Would you believe that's one of my favorite stories for Christmas is the Grinch? I know you find
I would believe that.
You all find that hard to believe.
No.
Along with Ralphie. Ralph, we're gonna watch Ralph.
I've already watched it on purpose.
We're gonna have prime rib.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
The Chinese food. I mean, we must have repeated that whole scene 1,000 times when I was a kid.
Yeah, we're gonna have prime rib with the dogs, and we're gonna watch Ralphie shoot his eye out, and it'll be great.
Let me run them down, guys.
Okay.
Number 10, I'll Be Home for Christmas. Number 9, Mary, Did You Know? Number 8, Hallelujah. Number 7, Do You Hear What I Hear? Number 6, Baby It's Cold Outside. Number 5, The Chipmunk Song. Number 4, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Number 3, Silent Night. Number 2, Oh Come All Ye Faithful. And number 1, Oh Holy Night.
If you swap Dominic the Donkey and the Chipmunk Song, this list is perfection. Perfection.
I'm sad. I got to go look where Frosty the Snowman showed up. That version with the guy with the weird voice from
Burl
50
Ives
years ago. Is
Burl
that who
Ives.
it is?
It's Burl Ives.
That is. I love it.
I will agree with you. Yeah. I think it's fabulous. But okay, so one of the ones that didn't make the list was Santa Baby.
Santa Baby. Yeah.
So did you guys, so again, this goes back to the SNL, but Miley Cyrus did a skit on this. So freaking good. Like, I loved it, and I recommend you go find it. And see, my dad agreed. Burl Ives. It's like, all I want for Christmas is equal pay. I was dying. I can buy myself anything I want. You can bring me equal pay.
73%.
Yep.
Women in the same job as men, 73%.
Correct. Yep.
So it's sad that I know that number.
Yeah, well, it's the state of the world, and it's why.
What about government employees? What do they do this time of year? Nothing. That's
nothing.
What
they get to take a big vacation.
Yeah, we have a couple extra minutes. So, Allison, tell us, what are we? Oh, nothing. We're doing nothing until after the first of the year.
I still have work. I still have, technically, I have 3 more days of work, but we all know next week nobody's in the office, so nothing will happen.
Right.
And Dad over there in the corner is excited because it's a big event tomorrow.
Yeah.
Big event.
Yeah, so I'm getting up, and it took me a second to register what we're talking about. Sorry.
Well, he's been gone. You know, maybe it's not a big event. To hell with the kid.
4 months. First time we'll see him in 4 months. So tomorrow morning, instead of going to work, I'm going to get my car ready and drive up to Nashville and pick my son up at 1 or 1:30 when his plane lands at the airport. And he's coming home until the 27th.
Okay, that's great.
Trip.
And also, on the 27th, he has a 5:30 a.m. flight out of Nashville. And I'm going to have to drive him to Nashville.
Oh, so Terry.
We're going to have to work out the details on that one.
You're going to be staying overnight's what I just heard.
Yeah.
It may be a better idea.
Dad, break out the Apple Card. It'll be fine.
Well, I guess we're leaving at 1 in the morning to get up there to Nashville.
So I have to tell you guys this, and because we'll get to Pondwater Dave in a second. So I started using my Apple Card per my friend Terry's advice, and I get all the cash back, and I don't carry a debit card anymore because I just use the Apple Card and then transfer. Like, I don't ever let it get a bill. I just pay it off, but I'm doing the Apple Card 1%, 3%.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple things I can get 6% on right now.
Yeah.
Terry is the one who suggested that, though.
So you put that, if you set up, go straight to Apple Cash and let that, or let the Apple Cash actually go. If you set up an Apple savings account, that bad boy's got a pretty high interest rate, and I pay for Christmas with that.
That's pretty smart. I use a JetBlue card, and my flight to Vegas was free. I used points. My flight to Seattle next year is free. My flight to Tampa, free.
She means she paid for them along the way. They're rewarded. They're not.
Well, no, it's the same deal with the credit card. I just got the points instead of the cash back. Because they know I'm going to buy flights anyway.
I do have one thing to caution you on.
Yes.
Don't make a huge purchase with Apple Pay.
Oh, yeah.
I paid like $750 for a ticket to Vegas, and it charged my Apple card because I used Apple Pay, and it did not register with Southwest Airlines. So for several days, I had all this money just
missing,
floating. And I know it all balances out, but I hate having pending things.
Yeah, we're not doing all that. Yeah,
I hate that. So just use the card as a card. Now you will get a lot of questions about, oh, there's no number on here. It's like, that's on purpose, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one thing I too, also with all of the identity theft going on, love about the Apple Card, Terry, is I can go into this phone right here and I can go boom, 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 and all of a sudden I got a new card number.
A new card number.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's
now and not only that, but it uses a different number for online purchases as it does when you swap the card.
Yep.
Because I went to a hotel recently and I had put it in when I booked the hotel, I'd put the one that I saw on the phone. But then when I actually swapped it, she goes, "You used a different card." I was like, "No, I didn't. I used the same." So it took me forever to convince this lady. But
and I don't know why they give a shit. Is it being paid for? Then who cares what card I reserved it with versus what I paid for?
I think that goes more to the identity theft. The other card thing.
Name, rank, serial number. By the way, we're closer, Allison. Yes. We are T-minus 56 days before I can get my real ID, which is step one to getting the
step one
PSA or TSA.
Well, so we've got a minute, but funny thing that happened on my way to Las Vegas, the TSA pre-line was 4 times as long as the regular line at 5:30 at 6 o'clock in the morning. I walked right over to the regular line and I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, when I have the ability to choose, I'm going to choose. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. What's happening on our friend show this week?
On Pondwater Dave and Amy show, it's Talking Wrestling with Pondwater Dave. Yesterday, they interviewed AIWF wrestler, the last of a dying breed, James Harris, not to be confused with Chris Harris or James Storm, formerly the America's Most Wanted of TNA. And Dave conducted the interview solo, so there was no trivia or anything like that. Amy was moving her daughter, which I'm sure she'll tell everybody about. Big move for them, relocating from Kentucky to Tennessee. God bless them. So all of us that have moved know how much that sucks. That could be a poll, Terry, like worst parts of moving. Like what's the worst aspects of moving?
Well, I know my dad's too old to help me next time. So,
well, there you go. That's number one on Terry's list. My dad's too old to help.
Like I'm not asking my dad for shit anymore. He's way too old for
it. Except for how to get the Auburn game on the back button for the television. Dad's got that under control.
Or that's the Braves game, probably.
Well, that's probably true. But here's the deal: we're going to talk about the back button in what 2 minutes? We're going to be football heavy. Allison's going to take a nap. She hates our football show.
No, I just fall asleep.
It's not a big secret. She hates it. What the hell did he say? What type of blitz was it? Who cares? I'm going to bed. So
go sports. Go sports. Go.
I love how she talks big on baseball. Then anything else she says, go sports.
I can follow. I know sports. I just have no interest. So yay team.
Or hockey.
Do you know why she was an Alabama fan last December? Because we were rooting for Alabama. That's why.
Correct. Yeah. That's why. That's it. No other reason.
Who now, the big bad Alabama is claiming tampering, Terry. Tampering.
Oh.
Hold it. We got 1 more minute. Hold it.
In the NIL era, we're writing $1 million checks for football fans. No, or football stars. No shit, there's tampering.
Okay, let's go ahead and start trying to wrap it up, I guess. Thank you, Allison, and thank you, Andrew. Thanks everybody that voted, everybody that tuned in, anybody that listens on the audio on wherever you get the podcast. Thank you, as always. We love you. If you don't hear our voices anymore, Merry Christmas. And We will be back before the new year, but barely.
Just barely.
But it's been a good show, and it went quick this time.
Yeah,
that was fun.
I had a lot of fun. I always have a lot of fun with you guys. It'll be 10 days without you, but you know.
And as we say, if you're staying for the football show, give us a couple of minutes to freshen up and let Allison fall asleep. And Andrew and Terry will talk about football for a while.
Terry needs more liquor. Code. Terry needs more liquor. Oh, that's supposed to be in the private chat. That's my bad.
Private chat.
Anyway.
Yes.
As always, love your people. Tell them you love them. Make it weird. See you next time, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Hello and welcome to TNA Top 10 Football Edition for December 19th, 2024. And we are now in the middle of bowl season. We haven't hit the playoffs yet, but that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Welcome, Andrew. It's finally happening.
Playoffs, Terry. Jim Morris said, playoffs. Yes, sir. Come Friday night, it's going to be the playoffs in South Bend, Indiana. $400 to get in. What do you think about that, Terry? Watch Indiana play Notre Dame.
Well, I'm ready to see that one because I think that's really going to be one of the closer ones. Unless Notre Dame is just fooling everybody. We'll see.
Well, my thing is, and we'll wait. We'll preview it. We'll wait.
Go ahead and throw that out there.
No, I've got some thoughts on this Notre Dame Indiana game because I agree with you. Yeah. I think that one it got the potential to actually be the game of the weekend.
Yeah.
And I have reasons why. So we'll get there. No problem. There.
But first, let's kick it off a little bit because we found out about a lot of awards over the last week or so. And one of those is the 2024 Heisman Trophy, won by Travis Hunter. Ashton Jeanty was second, and nobody else really got anywhere close. Dylan Gabriel third, Cam Ward fourth, Cam Scatterbo fifth, and nobody from the Southeastern Conference was in the top 10 vote getters in the Heisman in 2024.
You mentioned that. Did you look up when the last time it happened was, or did you not?
No. Have you looked that up? Oh,
but yeah, it's been a while.
Right. I would think so, especially now we've added Texas and Oklahoma to the league. You would think somebody snuck in there in the top 10, but I honestly don't know who it would be. I mean, at the start of the year, you would have thought, it would have been somebody from Alabama, but it did not happen that way.
Yeah, Jalen Milroe did not have the season that they thought he would. We predicted he would be an early Heisman candidate. We both talked about the quarterback from Georgia. He did not have a great season.
Right.
For the first time since 2017.
Oh, that's not nearly as long ago as I thought.
Yeah, 2017, according to a quick Google search. So as long as that's accurate.
That makes sense because
your boy,
Auburn was good that year.
Speaking of SEC, I turned the game on just a second. Bo Nix already leading the Broncos 20 points in the second quarter. So Broncos are up on the Chargers, going to be 3 scores here in or 2 scores in just a second, Terry. So, and Bo Nix was an Auburn guy before he was an Oregon guy and got run out of town because we don't know how, as sports fans, to act like good citizens. And that goes for Nebraska, that goes for Auburn, that goes for Oklahoma, that goes for Florida State, that goes for Ohio State.
You know why? We play too many video games. We think life is a video game.
42%, Terry. Listen to this. This is crazy. 42% of the tickets sold for the game Tennessee versus Ohio State in the horseshoe.
Right.
Tennessee has.
Right.
You're going to have a 60-40 or 45-55 crowd in Columbus?
Yes.
That's going to be insanity. But I was talking to our buddy Yambag Jones, and he said that despite being in the playoff, the Michigan game was so big to these clowns that they decided they're going to throw a tantrum and not even participate and support the Ohio State Buckeyes, who have an 8 seed, a home game, and still an opportunity to win a national championship. Stupid.
Who's not supporting them? Who are you saying is not supporting them?
The fan base will not support the football team because they lost to Michigan. They don't want to support Ryan Day. They don't want to support the football team. He said they take it so seriously they won't go buy tickets to go to the game. And I'm like, but number one, it's a bowl game or a playoff game. It's a home game. It's prime time. I think they got the 8 o'clock kick, don't they?
Yeah, they got the late kick. Yeah, they got the late kick. Yeah.
So, I mean, Penn State's kicking off at 12 again. Yeah.
Right.
So,
oh, goodness.
Yeah. and then Texas and in the middle of the day. Yeah. So
hearing that Notre Dame, I mean, there's rumors about Notre Dame wearing black uniforms instead of navy.
Good for them. We're the black and the green. Luck of the Irish.
On
the topic of the Heisman Trophy, before we move forward, Ashton Jeanty got robbed. Far more quality play, led his team to a playoff and a bye. I get that Travis Hunter played both ways. Doesn't make him the best player in the country.
Well, I have less heartache.
I'm a quality over quantity guy, Terry. Go ahead.
So I have less heartache with him winning the Heisman than I do him winning both the Biletnikoff as the top wide receiver and the Bednarik as the best defensive player. Because I don't see him as both of those. Heisman, I can see a logical argument, but to say he's the best receiver and the best defensive player in the country, I just don't see that.
Now, he was mid on an average team in a less than stellar league.
Now, I mean, he played a lot of snaps, obviously, and he was out there and he was good. That's why I say I don't have as much heartache with the Heisman. But I don't know. He was, I think, 6th in receiving yards and 3rd in his conference in receiving yards.
So this to me is a big snub, but it's not nearly as big of a snub as Indomitian Sue. You didn't think we were going to get out of here without talking about Nebraska real quick, did you, Terry? So listen to this nonsense. This is 2009. Alabama, national champion. Texas, runner-up. Florida, defending national champion. And Indomitian Sue. Okay? Those are your 4 categories. Tackles. Alabama 98, Texas 112, Florida 116, Indomitian Sue 82. One man. Tackles for loss. Alabama 23.5, Texas 22, Florida 25.5, Indomitian Sue 23. Sacks. Alabama 9.5, Texas 14, Florida 15.5, Indomitian Sue 12. Quarterback hurries. Alabama 20, Texas 48, Florida 10, Sue 24. Passes broken up, 5 by Alabama, 5 by Texas, 7 by Florida, 10 by Sue. The one man beat 3 teams in that category. Interceptions, 1, and they had none. And then forced fumbles, Sue had 1, Bama had 1, Texas had 1, Florida had 1. Blocked kicks, Terry. Mount Cody, if you remember this year, 2009, blocked 2 of them against Tennessee. Alabama as a team had 3 block kicks, 0 for Texas, 0 for Florida, 3 for Indomitian Sue. Indomitian Sue, defensive tackle, University of Nebraska, finished 4th in the Heisman after turning the Big 12 championship game on its head and having that season right there. So Ashton Jeanty didn't get snubbed that bad, but he still got snubbed. Whether it's
Who
right
was
or
it?
wrong.
Iowa? Is it Iowa that says somebody should have won the Heisman instead of Bo Jackson that year? That he won it?
It might be. Was that 80?
I can't remember the
when
guy.
did Bo win? 80, 82?
No. Bo Jackson Heisman year was, I wanted to make sure, 85. That's what I was thinking.
85, okay.
85, yeah.
Yeah, the 85 or 86 Iowa Hawkeyes, I think, were pretty good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that means that Kirk Ferentz wasn't there and they weren't mediocre.
Oh, I thought that was his first year.
Yeah, it might have been. He's such a douchebag. Iowa's my new Ohio State, for those of you who don't know.
But
a lot
Hank
going
Brown
on.
is there now. Hank Brown is there. You got to like him because of that.
Well, buddy, Hank Brown, Nebraska just signed 2 defensive tackles and an edge rusher from Missouri we're going to talk about. Hank Brown's going to be running for his life because the thing is, at least your coach at Auburn knows what offense is. They don't know what offense at Iowa is.
Well, I would say he's going to be a backup, but I also don't know who Iowa has a quarterback anyway. So, you know.
Hank Brown. Everybody else left.
What else we got going on?
You want to talk about the coaching carousel and how North Carolina bet on Bill Belichick to the tune of $10 million a year?
I was seeing somebody predict that he will never coach a game at North Carolina because one of these NFL teams is going to offer him a job and he's going to hightail it to the NFL.
Saw the same thing. So if he leaves June 1st, the buyout is $1 million. So otherwise, there's payback and all this other stuff. He's got a bunch of stuff written into his contract.
Okay.
Obviously, being here in North Carolina, it's a big deal. But North Carolina is a basketball school. And I don't say that disparagingly. As good as Mac Brown was, they're not. But Bill Belichick, I'm not exactly sure what the angle is here. But to your point, there's probably 6 to 8 teams in the NFL going to be looking for coaches at the end of the season.
Right.
And one of them might be the Patriots. I don't think he'd ever go back, but one of them would be the Patriots. The Browns may be looking for a new head coach. The Bears are already looking for a new head coach. So, I mean, you're going to have some opportunity. But he got $10 million. Apparently, Patricia's in on this. Josh McDaniel is in on this. His son is in on this.
Man,
they've got bonus money for assistants. They've got facility money. They've got NIL money. I think they did $20 million in NIL. So you're talking Belichick got a lot. Well, why not? He's a 6-time Super Bowl coach, winning coach, and he coached 9 of them. And that doesn't count his time as the defensive coordinator for Bill Parcells at the Giants. So Belichick's been around a long time. My favorite part is going to be like Brady and Edelman and Gronk said on that NFL preview. Imagine Bill going into a house trying to recruit a 17-year-old to come play in North Carolina.
Not at all. Well, I mean, he's recruited a 26-year-old or whatever his girlfriend.
He has. So hey, I see you're a big guy. You are you going to be one of those assholes that knows how to block, or are you just going to be an asshole? Like, Bill, what the hell? That's not how you pitch it to somebody.
Yeah, I don't know. He says that he's going to go make it like an NFL franchise, but a college. And I mean, it's becoming more of a business like that. So who knows?
I have a point when we get to Nebraska talk that you and I have agreed to speak about, and we'll do it quickly. But yeah, I mean, it's not a coincidence that the NFL coaches are finding their way into that the coaches are finding their way into college football. Especially when
rumors about Vrabel.
Such a business. Yeah. So I shared something on Facebook or Twitter. I don't know if you saw this, and there was a little pushback because, Nebraska was involved. Mm-hmm. But Nebraska is in the top 10 for wealthiest universities at $983 million, Terry.
Yeah.
Likeness, licensing, merchandise, school, whatever, $983 million. I told you guys, and their volleyball team is actually playing for the national championship game tonight, the semifinal. But I've told you all, Nebraska's got money. It's that's not a thing. They've got the money. It's whether they choose to spend it or not. North Carolina has the money for Belichick. It's whether they chose, and they spent $10 million for 3 years.
One thing I don't know, do they earmark funds with the collectives for certain sports, or is it just global for the school for all sports? How does that work?
Honestly do not know
look
that.
into that because I mean, the basketball team's probably bringing a lot in there.
Yeah, if you're a football player though at the University of Nebraska, you're going to get more money than the basketball player.
Well, yeah, but North Carolina it's one of those schools you don't know.
Yeah, they are a basketball school. Yeah,
but we got a couple of guys going back home, so to speak. Rich Rod going back to West Virginia. We got Scott Frost going back to Central Florida. We may have mentioned that last week. And Dan Mullen's getting back in the game, but he's not going to Mississippi State. He's headed to UNLV, and he had some interesting thoughts about UNLV being a good place to go to because UNLV's got a good chance of getting that 5th conference champion spot and going to the playoffs. So
particularly if they can beat Boise. They couldn't beat Boise this year, but if they can beat Boise, that's it. Right,
and Barry Odom who was there. He's headed to Purdue. And we got a weird situation going on here with Marshall, where Marshall Charles Huff led Marshall to a conference championship, and then could not reach agreement with the school, didn't sign an extension, signed with Southern Miss, and about 30 players entered the transfer portal. So they tapped out of their bowl game.
Yep. Yeah. And then we're going to see more and more of that, before we move too far, because this is going to piggyback into what I'm going to say about the transfer portal.
Yeah.
You didn't ask, but how do I feel about Rich Rod? Country road, take me home.
That made both shows.
To the place that I know, West Virginia. Terry, don't act like you don't know the words. Come on.
I'm going to let you take this.
Rich Rod from 01 to 06 had a pretty dominating football team there at West Virginia. So he did. I mean, the man knows how to coach football. And
did at that point.
Rich Rod was the prodigal son, but then he went to Michigan. He jumped on the Michigan train after
flirting with Alabama.
Yeah, Lloyd Carr. Lloyd Carr left Michigan. Rich Rod was his replacement. Then we get Brady Quinn not Quinn. That's the quarterback. Brady Hoke. But yeah, Rich Rod, West Virginia, special teams, good running game, strong offense. Morgantown and Rich Rod is peanut butter and jelly. I mean, let's make no mistake about it. Rich Rodriguez was built to be the head coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers. Football is going to be fun again, because Rich Rod is back where he belongs. Now, again, he's the prodigal son because he fell from grace after that loss in Michigan job, Terry, when they fired his ass. I mean, right. Rich Rod looked like he was done, and he's built his way back and all of that sort of stuff. I truly believe Rich Rodriguez is automatically going to increase the profile of West Virginia. They're going to have better tickets, better recruiting, better offense. Again, they play really good special teams there. And it's just like Belichick. Immediately walking through the door, you should expect an impact. Immediately. Can't say that for Scott Frost necessarily, because his two successors, Josh Heupel and Gus Malzahn, pretty good coaches in their own right,
Right.
But West Virginia, and I forget his name right off the top of my head. We've talked about him several times. That's it. Yeah. He was a good coach, but he's not Rich Rod. And they're looking to play back. They want to roll it back to the early 2000s where they were competing for the opportunity to play for national titles.
And
if Pat McAfee makes 2 field goals, they're in the national championship game.
And we thought it was going to be Bobby Petrino going back to Arkansas as the head coach. But Arkansas actually ended up having a pretty decent season.
And they kept Sam Pittman. Yeah, they kept Sam Pittman. And we know Billy Napier's back. We also know that, it seems to come up all the time because Florida State is such a dumpster fire. But Norvell gave $4.5 million back to the university, as part of his salary. But they can't.
I've read articles about Hugh Freeze offering to restructure his contract also, just to kind of stay there and have another opportunity, another season to do something.
Well, let's talk about the man real quick. We didn't talk about him last week, but Mike Gundy eats, sleeps, and breathes and is Oklahoma State football. And they actually flirted with firing him.
Well, he's got to grow the mullet back. I mean, I've been saying this all season.
Jimmy Johnson did well at Oklahoma State, but he used that as a springboard to go to Miami. They won national championship. But who in the world is qualified to be Oklahoma State head coach better than Mike Gundy?
I don't know. I don't think anybody. I mean, Les Miles did pretty well there for a short period of time.
But he used it as a springboard to get to LSU.
That's right.
Mike Gundy never left, never thought about leaving. How many jobs do you think he turned down in 20-plus years as the head coach?
A lot. He was at least rumored to get other jobs.
Because there was times, Terry, and you and I both know it, he was a lot more successful than the season they had this year.
And I'm sure he was probably asked about the Auburn job 5 times when they fired coaches.
Well, think about it. Probably Texas came up when Mac Brown left. You think about that because they put Charlie Strong there. You think about Oklahoma potentially after Stoops left.
Ooh, that would be a move right there. Oklahoma.
Oh man, they'd murder him. Yeah, but he could have gone to Missouri. Think about the Southeastern Conference and the turnover in coaches you've had there. Send Mike Gundy to LSU instead of the Cajun, the Raging Cajun after Les Miles leaves. Man. You know what do you do there? A Florida team with Mike Gundy. So my point is, there is a value on a head football coach, particularly when they know everybody in town, they know every donor, they are very well received by your fan base.
They can fix your air conditioner if it starts acting up during the press
conference. That's correct. I think they were going to get a lot of pushback if they had tried to proceed firing Mike Gundy. I really do. Could be wrong, but I really think they were going to get that pushback, Terry.
Yeah, I mean he's an Oklahoma State guy. But I mean, they had a terrible, terrible season. He has got to pick it up next year.
Well, they had Ollie Gordon and didn't run the ball, so I don't understand.
I mean, I got to the end of the season knowing they had not had a great season, but not realizing they had 0 conference wins.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, as you know, and I know, their quarterback is transferring after his 6th season. Or no, he's leaving. He's going to the NFL.
Yeah, so he was granted an 8th season or something like that. 7th season.
7th season. Yes,
never mind. I'll just go to the NFL. Watch
crazy.
Diego Pavia do the same thing after getting his being approved.
What was his rationale? I know I sent it to you.
Because he played JUCO. So
oh yeah, they're going to make that a rule too. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like JUCO's not going to count. This is huge.
Yeah, because now they're saying that, hey, if you've got some talent, but you might not be a top tier freshman, go play JUCO for a couple years, develop your strength, get your game down, and then be able to go to the big boys.
It's like the Japanese baseball players coming in and winning Rookie of the Year.
We didn't even talk about Sasaki. He's got a meeting with the Yankees, just in case you wondered. Yeah, Roki. Yeah, he does. Because that pitching staff needs some more ammo. Let's face it, he's going to the Dodgers, but he's at least polite enough to take the meeting. Terry, Nebraska. Talk about Nebraska, because this is our show. We do what we want here. And you need to talk about Auburn. Coaching staff update at the University of Nebraska. All of this, sir, is now official. Because apparently they're going to leak this stuff and tell people that so-and-so is expected to be the next blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But then they have to vet them and do their background checks and still get it approved and their contract signed. But they're saying that they're going to take that position before all of that stuff is actually official, which annoys me, is, I guess, the point. Dana Holgorsen, offensive coordinator, very excited. Dante Dowdell, however, went into the portal, 12 rushing touchdowns this year. He was the hammer. But the thought being we can find a fullback running back in the portal if necessary, or, develop one like we used to. But Dana Holgorsen, OC, brought in DeKale Shorts, the wide receivers coach. Nebraska just landed another wide receiver as we went on the air tonight. 4-star transfer, and that's going to be good. We'll talk about that down the road because we have way too much to get to. Phil Snow, associate head coach, no position announced. John Butler will be the DC with no position coaching announced, internal hire. Terry Braden, 8 years assistant DL coach at Kansas City, will be joining Nebraska to be the DC coach. Philip Simpson, outside linebackers, formerly of Florida State, and Addison Williams, former UCF DC, he was Gus's DC, is now the D-backs coach. Point to say any of this is that Holgorsen no, Shorts no, but Snow, Butler, and Braden all have NFL experience, and they're all defensive coaches. So my point when I said that about Belichick earlier is that you're going to start seeing coaches with NFL experience coming into the NCAA. I also said Nebraska's got $983 million worth of value. That's a lot of money you can throw at somebody if you really want to motivate get something done, Terry. Auburn, what have they done?
Okay, so this will be a good transition. We're going to talk transfer portal in a minute. So that the biggest thing in Auburn right now is okay. Hugh Freeze has been there, and he's had 2 losing seasons. If you count the bowl game last year, so what happens now? I mean, he's recruited very well the whole time he's been there. He's got some big names. He's recruited really well this season. We talked about that last show. Next year, Auburn will have 0 quarterbacks on the roster that were on the roster in 2024. So he's got to reconstruct his quarterback room. He's got a 5-star Deuce Knight that he flipped for Notre Dame, a left-handed true freshman quarterback coming in. He signed in the transfer portal. He signed Ashton Daniels, who started at Stanford. But this is a guy that had 10 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, so his numbers aren't great. So people are like, why are you getting him? Then they got Jackson Arnold, 5-star guy out of high school, played at Oklahoma, didn't have the season he had hoped to have, but he's got a ton of potential. So he's coming in. But they've got to fill one more spot, and I'm kind of curious who they're going to fill that with. Are they going to get another younger guy? Are they going to get somebody that can compete with Jackson Arnold? I don't know. And is Hugh Freeze going to have more luck and get more out of Jackson Arnold at Auburn than they got out of at Oklahoma? So those are the big things. They've also beefed up the offensive line. They got 2 big-time tackles out of the transfer portal, and they've got a lot of defensive line guys out of the transfer portal. So they've kept the big-name receivers. That was huge. Cam Coleman is there. Perry Thompson's still there. They've got all 4 of the Freeze 4, as you call it, from last year. So the receivers are there. So I think Hugh Freeze is a pretty good salesman. These guys buy into what he's selling them. Whether they can get them on the field and actually win some football games, we're going to see. And by the end of next season, we're either going to see that he was just a salesman or he had a vision that was going to work. And it all comes down to what can he get out of his quarterback, because this should be an upgrade from Peyton Thorne. It's not the best guy that was in the portal by any means, but Auburn was pretty close to winning several games this year. So you may not have to be a lot better than Peyton Thorne was. You might just have to have a little bit more upside. And I think Jackson Arnold may have that.
Yeah, and that was a big get for the transfer portal. I don't know that Venables, as a defensive-minded coach, knew exactly what to do with Jackson Arnold.
Right.
It was pretty clear he wasn't decided on his quarterback as to who was 1 and who was 2. And we saw that as the season went on. And then, of course, you see Oklahoma gain a little momentum. They just beat the brakes off Alabama. Nothing Alabama did went right. But so much of that was defense as opposed to just the offense, being able
and
to.
Jackson Arnold ran the ball that game more than passing.
Correct. And so I don't know how Hugh Freeze is and compared to Gus mode, but we know Gus likes big, mobile quarterbacks that can run and efficiently throw the ball. He doesn't need 5,000-yard passers. He just wants somebody that can complete a deep ball and be a threat, because otherwise you become one-dimensional.
Hugh Freeze, Nick Marshall playing for Gus was very much a runner, but he could throw a deep ball once in a while, and there was a threat of that.
And there was enough accuracy there, and he had good enough playmakers that if he
bounced
had
it off the right defensive back so that it
if he had the ball close, though, you know what I'm saying? If he had the ball close, they were going to make a play. And so much of that matters. Like, I'm seeing the turnover at Nebraska, people worried about stuff, and all of a sudden 4- and 5-star recruits are starting to sign with the Huskers.
Yeah.
And that's after all of the coaching changes were announced.
Right.
Nebraska lost the core of their defense to Florida State in terms of the coaching staff. James Williams, as predicted. Stephen Thompson, as predicted, signed with Florida State following Tony White and pot roast. But the transfer portal, Terry, and the recruiting has been so huge for Matt Rule. We're starting to see it in season 3, getting ready for. Right. And then him signing people like Dana Holgerson, who is an offensive. He's not Mike Leach, but he's probably as close to Mike Leach as you're ever going to find that's alive and living today. maybe Art Briles, but Leach with that air raid offense, and Dana wants to run the ball. And a Merry Christmas to Ben Jones as we talk about American football, not soccer. But the bottom line,
we haven't done a Cyrus soccer update in a while. Maybe we'll get to that at some point.
That's right. The bottom line, though, Terry, as you see in Auburn, is you've got a guy that can recruit, but he can't win games. But people still want to come to Auburn. So there's a reason, though, and I asked you this last week, and I don't want to get long-winded, but there's a reason people are still going to go yell War Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason a 6-6 Nebraska team is getting 4- and 5-star recruits. Playing time, money, credibility. I mean, Terry Braden as a defensive line coach in a team that is going to be built on defense, that's a huge encouragement or enticement for people to come play for him. Because I mean, he's got 8 years of NFL experience as the assistant DL coach for the Chiefs. You look at Phil Snow as the defensive court, all that stuff. And that's what I'm saying about Hugh Freeze. We know the man's resume. He has yet to deliver, though. And I don't necessarily think it's his fault. Entirely. I don't think it's
they haven't been blown out. I mean, Georgia beat them pretty good. Arkansas, I think, beat them by 10 or 13.
Alabama beat them by 2 touchdowns,
Yeah, and that was in Tuscaloosa.
Right.
Most of the time when Auburn has gone to Tuscaloosa for the last 20 years, Alabama's beaten them pretty bad.
Yeah.
Other than 2010.
That was special.
Well, yeah, that was a huge comeback. But
he really was the best player in the country, and that wasn't arguable.
But I mean, they played a lot of close games, and there was a turnover or something. Or I got to tell you, their kicker situation this year didn't get talked about a lot, but they had a good kicker that got very sick and lost a lot of weight, and he couldn't kick, and they didn't have anybody else on the team that could do it. And if you don't have a guy that can kick a field goal consistently, that's going to lose some football games for you.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback what you're saying. With Nebraska, we joke about the transfer portal. They got a long snapper rather, who's got an 88 rating. Nebraska's long snapper, I keep saying deep snapper, long snapper, who was on their roster for the whole year, highest rating was 42. You just doubled it by going to the transfer portal. The other thing they replaced the senior punter, who's now got the punts are average. He's from Washington. His kicks average 44. He had plenty of kicks over 50 and 60. He's a directional kicker, so he can pin people out of bounds. That's the kind of stuff you need in the Big Ten. Point being, the transfer portal, if it's going to be available, you have a deficiency in this long snapper.
Mm-hmm.
They went and got one of the best long snappers available. Yeah, they went and got him. This dude is getting paid to come from some nonsense school, Terry. I'm serious. It's like it might even be an FBS school to come play Division I football at Nebraska because he can snap a football for field goals and punts. Special teams was such a nightmare for him. Good for them fixing the problem. Right. It's like you said, you only got one kicker. That's unfortunate. Seriously, because
I mean, they had a couple of guys, but they were just inconsistent or couldn't kick it very far. But that's a huge thing when you can't count on your kicker kicking a 40 to 45 yard field goal. Then that really hurts the offense.
Nebraska would have won 3 football games if they could have made a field goal.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're 9-3 instead of 6-6. Go ahead, buddy.
Let me run down a few notes I got, and some of these may have updated the last couple of days because I did not update recent transactions. Eric Singleton Jr., he's the top guy listed on 3 on the transfer portal. Wide receiver out of Georgia Tech, was big against Georgia. He's narrowed it down to Auburn and Ole Miss. Kevin Concepcion, a wide receiver from NC State, has narrowed it down to Alabama and Colorado. We've got you might have to help me with this name. This edge that came from Missouri and signed with Nebraska, Williams
Mawerny, yeah.
So that's a big
player. That's a big get, yes, sir.
But unfortunately, he's replacing He's replacing this other guy with a name you might have to help. Princewell.
Yeah, that was Princewell.
He went to Ole Miss from Nebraska. A couple of guys. Connor Wegman, quarterback from Texas A&M, headed to Houston. Jackson Arnold, like we said, quarterback comes from Oklahoma and goes to Auburn. Miller Moss, the quarterback at USC, is going to Louisville.
Malik Murphy today went to Oregon State.
Okay. I did not hear that yet. So that's big news because he had visited Auburn and On3 was predicting him to sign with Auburn. And the next thing you know, Jackson Arnold signed with Auburn. So
yeah, and he's with Oregon State. And that might be why you guys didn't get him, because he'd have been a good quarterback for Hugh Freeze, I think.
Right. And that's also why I wonder, like I said, Auburn's got to put one more quarterback. They've got 3. They need one more, at least for practice purposes. Can they, what is their plan going forward? I haven't heard any rumors. It would be interesting to see if they could get somebody that would put some pressure on Jackson Arnold and create some competition. Justice Haynes, running back from Alabama, he's in the portal now. I mentioned the offensive tackle, number 1 offensive tackle in the portal, Xavier Chaplin from Virginia Tech signed with Auburn. That's another reason Auburn's up the list. Barry Brown, wide receiver from Kentucky, goes to LSU. Those are the ones I have listed here. But I think Texas Tech, from what I saw, was the number 1 team, followed by Ole Miss and Auburn in the top 3 on the list.
Yeah,
so they're doing pretty well.
Texas A&M got Nebraska. Bokesher was his name. He was the tight end that came on real strong under Dana Holgorsen. Isaiah Hunter, 4-star recruit, committed to Nebraska today. That again is the Dana Holgorsen effect and who he's got in the and so Nebraska has Williams Nwaneri, Gabe Moore, Jalen George, Jack McAllister, and Kevin Galick. Those guys are all 4+ stars coming to Nebraska. Doesn't make a lot of sense, Terry, when you think about you're a 6-6 football team, and they've got some homegrown talent too. Where was this? This was Nizay Hunter. Hunter was a big deal. Here's one for you. Yeah, Nate Bokesher. See, all mine is Nebraska, but he's Texas Tech. And let's face it, as a big tight end at Texas A&M, they're going to do well there. A big tight end is going to do well with Mike Elko's offense and what they like to run there. But that Isaiah Hunter, the one I keep talking about, he had 4 stars. He had 9 offers for his transfer, and Nebraska beat everybody. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't always make sense. We're going to lose some of them, but it's like you've said, Terry, there's 105 players now on your roster. You're going to get the best 105.
Right.
And that's just what you have to do. I mean, it's not me telling you anything that you don't know. Steve Sarkisian, Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian on Diego Pavia's eligibility. I totally disagree. We're going to have guys 28 and 29 years old playing college football.
As well, you make a career out of it and make money the whole time, and screw the NFL. Already made enough money.
Yeah, says the man, by the way, who has Arch Manning in the backup position. So he's doing okay. But no, there's several others we can talk about next week, because the thing is, too, as these bowl games happen, if coaches get fired or resign or move, the transfer portal opens. They're eligible. As the games end, my understanding is that these guys still have the opportunity after the games to transfer. Is that correct?
I'll have to look at the rules. I know that Penn State's backup quarterback had gone.
He's gone.
Said something. Is he actually gone?
Yeah, he's in the portal. They're not going to have that backup quarterback for the playoffs. That's stupid. That is stupid right there.
And that's the impact. But I mean, the deal is they're trying to level the playing field with the players and the coaches. And I think the only way for the players to be held back from having this reign of going wherever is to put some kind of rules on the coaches too.
Yeah, I think December 9th through the 28th is when the portal is open and closed. The playoff games will not be decided by then, Terry.
Right. January 20th is the end.
Yeah.
Like even, you don't look forward to losing the first round or anything. You don't expect that. So you can't
Players
plan
have
that.
until December 28th to put their name in the portal.
They can also play while they're in the portal. That's up to the coach. But,
Yep.
why don't we talk
Exactly.
about some football games instead of portal and that kind of thing? We had Navy and Army, and Navy put it on Army.
It was crazy.
31 to 13.
This is exactly backwards of how I thought this game would work, honestly.
I don't know if I picked Navy, but I had a feeling here because, with Army and Navy, they both had pretty good seasons at the start, and then Navy ends up losing and drops a couple. Army keeps going and gets blasted by Notre Dame. You don't really know until they start playing somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Navy, Army, Navy. I mean, Army was 11-1 going into this game, but they did take the blowout to, Notre Dame, and that was expected. I just thought Army was a better football team than this, but Navy grounded out. They rushed the ball, they beat up the defensive line, and they didn't commit turnovers, Terry. And that ultimately is what changed this game. So
it was pretty interesting to watch Army and Navy, and they got a little chippy with each other. Think of these guys being real strict and disciplined, but
they are, but
like
I said, it's still a football game. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Still a football game. Who else did we see? I think I saw this one. This is the cricket kickoff game.
The cricket? What?
The next one.
Oh, well, we did have some bowl games, and we'll talk about those. We didn't really dig into it, but we got 4 FBS bowl games that happened before today. We had a 5th one, but that was FCS level, so I didn't include it. But
yeah, I did, and I won. I am 5-0 in the ESPN Pick'ems, ladies and gentlemen. I can't pick shit during the regular season. I can pick bowl game winners, even if they are the FCS.
Well, let's just talk about these. We don't want to dig in too much because honestly, these are happening right now for a reason. These are not the big time games. South Alabama wins the Salute to Veterans Bowl against Western Michigan 30-23. Memphis beats West Virginia. In the Frisco Bowl 42-37. The LA Bowl, and I watched some of this game the other night. When I was watching this game before, was this last night? I guess
it was last night. What about that fake punt, Terry?
Yeah, and that was great. But UNLV, I think when I went to bed, UNLV was up 14-13. They end up winning 24-13 over Cal.
Yep. And then, of course, JMU.
Right, and then James Madison beats Western Kentucky in the Boca Raton Bowl 27-17.
And the big story is Cal's got a great defense pass wise. The UNLV, let's face it, the UNLV Cal game was the game. I mean, Western Kentucky JMU was pretty good, but UNLV, we wanted to see how they would play. Portal transfer, coaches change, all of that stuff. Barry Odom's team played like they played, and we got to see Dan Mullen out there early. Cal's defensive pass game was decent, but like I say, that fake punt was masterful. It was a great move on their part. And it's nice to see UNLV win their 11th game. I mean, really, they lost 2 to Boise and 1 somewhere else along the way. So if you lose 2 to Boise, that Boise State team, that's not the end of the world.
Right. So, especially this year with Genty in the backfield.
No, and the way they're running the ball and everything else. So what do we have to look forward to, Terry? Is that what we're talking about?
So we're going to break this up a little bit. I'm going to tell you the bowl games that are happening before the playoffs start.
Okay.
We will break down the playoffs, and then I'll tell you the next set of – and then it starts getting good. After we get the first round of the playoffs, then the really good bowl games start. So between December 19th, today, and December 20th, tomorrow, these are the 2 days before tomorrow night, Friday night, we get the playoffs started. Right now, and I don't know what the score is. I know before we started recording, I think Sam Houston was up 7-0 on Georgia Southern in the New Orleans Bowl. I'm not sure what that looks like now. But then we've also got Ohio and Jacksonville State in the Cure Bowl, and we will have Tulane against Florida in the Gasparilla Bowl.
And that might be my first loss, Terry. I'm 5-0. Sam Houston is up 28-19 with the ball. 11:37 in the fourth.
So I'm interested a little bit in this Tulane-Florida game.
Yeah, I think Florida's defense is just too big, too strong, too fast, too mean. Florida's a good football team. They're a lot better than Tulane.
They are way better than what we thought they were going to be.
Yep. And Tulane's got a good record. I get that. They had the chance to be in the final five, the group of five there for a little bit, but I don't live in a world where I would ever bet against the Gators on Tulane. No offense to Tulane.
Problem is, this transfer portal thing, we really dug into it last year. We're not providing that was a nightmare pulling all that data together about how many players from each team were in the portal and all that stuff. We're not doing that this year. But, just based on what the teams are, if we don't hear anything big, any big news, we would expect Florida to win this game.
Yeah, that's this is the same team that they got beat up, but then they just came back with a vengeance. So, and Billy Napier still has a job.
For now. But they had a horrible schedule. Let's talk about college football playoff. So here we go. First round, everybody on the left. And the first of these games, tomorrow night, Friday night, we have Indiana at Notre Dame. And we've got a Division I football bowl subdivision playoff game at the host team stadium. So this is a first. So Notre Dame's going to host Indiana, and it's going to be cold, you said?
30 degrees.
Both of these teams are from Indiana. They're going for the state title here. I thought it was interesting. I put turnover margin as part of the statistics here. Both of these teams were really good in turnover margin this year. I think the leading team in the country was plus 17. Notre Dame is plus 16, and Indiana is plus 15. This should be a pretty darn good game.
If this is incorrect, don't blame me. Tomorrow's forecast, low of 23, high of 33, 70% chance of snow.
Oh, man. Let's do this.
That's according
What a way to start the playoffs.
That's according to Apple and the National Weather Service.
The only thing that would have been better if it were a team from either California or Florida that went to Notre Dame to play this game.
Yeah. So this is the thing. We said we'd mention it quickly. I know we're probably going to run a little bit over tonight, but Notre Dame played nobody all year long. You could say, well, they played USC. USC sucked. They're an undisciplined football team led by a poser as a head football coach. He might be a good offensive coordinator. He's not a good head football coach. That's the bottom line.
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, they did defeat. They did beat Texas A&M, and they did it at College Station.
Right.
USC, not a good game. And that got chippy and physical and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Stanford, not a great outing. Army, as we talked about, blowout. And Army was a top 25 team when they played. Louisville, they beat Louisville. They were in the top 25 when they played. But so much of this is just lesser talent. But then again, on Indiana's case, they played one top 25 team, and it was Ohio State, and they lost.
Right.
So I think Notre Dame's defense is for real. I think the run-pass option that Cignetti is going to bring to the play calling is going to matter. You look at it, Terry. These guys are even in a lot of ways on this scorecard. They are very close.
They are very similar.
But like I said, both of them had the benefit of a lighter schedule, in my opinion. If you look at their strength of schedule ratings, I think Indiana, as Nick Saban so eloquently pointed out, was 60. Notre Dame wasn't much higher than that.
Right.
But Notre Dame did have that signature win against A&M.
That's week one. It's kind of hard to tell week one sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
we got
true.
Clemson in the playoff after getting absolutely slaughtered by Georgia week 1. So
yeah, they got smoked, and it wasn't close.
right.
But if I have to pick this game, because I think defense wins championships, it's also at home. I'm picking Notre Dame to win this football game.
I'm picking Notre Dame by 1 score. I just don't see them.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think this could be 23-21. This could be 14-17. This could be 10-13, just depending on how much is the weather a factor, how much is the game preparation a factor. And let's face it, Marcus Freeman, Al Golden, the defensive strategists of Notre Dame, they have lived on being able to force turnovers and then score on them. You can say the same thing with Cignetti. The difference is everybody wants Indiana to fail, so he's got a chip on his shoulder walking into that game. But remember, Notre Dame was ranked as high as 4 to end the season. So there's also that as well.
Right, so that's tomorrow night's game. Let's move on to the next first round game.
By the way, 8 o'clock. Go ahead, Terry.
This will be SMU at Penn State, and this is an early game on Saturday. Penn State, they're going to do a whiteout at noon.
Yep.
And these guys, if you look at turnover margin, SMU was 0 and Penn State's a +5. So they are not nearly as good with turnover margin as the previous two teams. That was one thing that really caught my eye when I saw these matchups. The turnover margin was very similar for almost every game here.
Yeah, and you look at this SMU team, we know they're a very balanced team, but they played inside the ACC. They lost to Clemson. They lost to BYU, but they beat everybody else, but they did not draw Miami as an example. And I think personally, Terry, that the physicality of Penn State's going to be too much for SMU.
Yeah.
I don't think SMU is a bad football team. I think SMU belongs in the playoff. But if Penn State can play Penn State football, they win this by 2 scores.
Well, especially at home.
That's what I mean. They're at home. It's 110,000. It's going to be cold. I mean, if it's snowing in damn Indiana, it's going to be cold in Western Pennsylvania. That was for you, Bober. He told me to try to refer to it as Central PA, and I said I would do my best. But that's Western Pennsylvania, Bober. That's where Beaver Stadium is. 110,000 people be screaming and hollering. Also, they can afford to go to the game, Terry, whereas in Notre Dame, they're charging $400 to get in. Penn State door fee is about $60. So people can get into the stadium to watch this football game at 12 o'clock. I just really do think, though, in all honesty, SMU, great team. Rhett Lashley has them going the right direction. Very surprising for this year, being the first in the ACC conference. I just think Penn State's too big, too mean, too strong. That's where I'll leave it. It's just going to be too physical.
I think the only way SMU has a chance to keep it close is they've got to have a couple of big plays in there. And they've got to play maybe the best defensive game they've played all year.
And they have to play clean. Look at those penalty yards, 79. You and I have talked multiple games about SMU this year where they had over 100 yards in penalties. You cannot do that against Penn State because that means you're going backwards and not converting downs, which means you're giving the team that can lean on you and run the ball again. And you certainly don't want to do that.
That's right. Let's move to the third game in round 1. Clemson at Texas in Austin, Texas. Clemson, another one that's been very good on the turnover margin, a +16 here. Texas, not too bad, but they're just a +6. But Texas is only giving up 12.5 points a game.
There's going to be a little doubt in this game, Terry. Can Sark win the big one? Right. He made it to the semifinals, lost to Washington last year. He couldn't. They beat Alabama, that set the tone for the season, but couldn't beat Oklahoma in the Red River Shootout last year. This year, he got bested by Georgia twice. Now he's playing Clemson in the opening round, 4 o'clock game Saturday. Can they get it done? My answer is yes. I think Texas is a much more complete football team. I think they do have a more consistent and better offense. I think they've got a really strong defense, like we saw against Clemson or against Texas, Georgia, excuse me. If you were to compare apples to apples, because they have that common opponent, Texas obviously did a much better job against Georgia, both times. However, Clemson did
a lot better. Yeah, they're a lot better than they were. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a lot better than they were. This is going to be a one-score game, in my opinion. That the crowd, the home field advantage, I cannot emphasize how important I think that's going to be throughout these whole playoffs. And I think Sark gets it done Saturday, and Texas moves on against Clemson.
You know, maybe I'm taking Dabo lightly here, but I think Texas by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think Texas is just too good of a football team.
Yeah.
I'll say 10 points. I mean, I think they are too good of a football team. You didn't include the spread this time, but the last time I saw it, I think it was 7. I mean, I do. I think it was 7. But anyway.
Okay. Let's look at the other main event game of the first round, and we got Tennessee heading up to Columbus for Ohio State.
108,000 in the horseshoe, Terry, but 42% of the tickets were sold to people from Tennessee.
They're fired up. They are fired up to be in a playoff, and Alabama to not be in that playoff. I can guarantee you that is part of this. But, you know, turnover margin is almost the same, +5, +4. They match these up pretty well in all of these games. Probably purely accidental, but I thought that was interesting.
You ready? You ready for this, Terry? Yeah, Saturday's low will be 20 after 11 p.m. and the high will be 30 at 12 a.m. Temperature range will feel like 12 to 20 degrees. Wind will make it feel colder than the actual temperature. That is your forecast for Columbus, Ohio, Saturday.
So these teams play good defense, and it's going to be cold. This may be a pretty low-scoring game here.
Yeah, when you look at the differences, like there's almost 30 yards in penalty difference. The defensive game is pretty close. Your offensive points is pretty close. Yeah. Your offense is pretty. This is close. Like there's a reason these guys are 9-8. You know, that's, I hate to say.
Yeah, and really, the question here was who is hosting this game.
Yeah, you're very correct. The defensive front of Tennessee is extremely good.
Yeah,
very. Very good. Will Howard wants to run a little bit. He wants to open play action. They want to get to the big playmaker. I forget his name, the wide receiver. You know who I'm talking about. He replaced Harrison. But they want to get the ball out of his hands. But Tennessee is going to bring pressure and some blitzes and stuff. On the other hand, Ohio State has one of the best defenses in the Big Ten. 11 points a game. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's insanity. And look who they played, Terry. Also had the benefit of playing 2 top 5 teams.
Right.
Or 3 top 5 teams and beat 2 of them. Right. So they know the other thing about Ohio State, and I'm not saying that Tennessee isn't. Ohio State is already battle tested in these close one-score games where every play matters, every yard matters, every second matters, and it really comes down to execution. As much as it pains me to say it, it's Columbus, it's the horseshoe, it's Ohio State by 6.
This is going to be a tough one because I really think Tennessee is a very good football team, but I think they got a tough draw in the first round here going to Ohio State, and I think the home teams sweep it across the board. I think it's a one-score game, but I think Ohio State wins. They're just better.
And we're in agreement, and we didn't even talk about this, guys. Anybody listening is, Andrew and Terry agree this week. We did not talk about any
Next week it'll start getting pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's going to get ugly because, I've got my picks in, Terry. My picks are in, and they're final. It's crazy. That's not true. I can change them if somebody gets hurt, though. But no, we said that the Notre Dame-Indiana game probably could steal the show.
Yeah.
This is the one everybody's waiting to see, though.
Right.
This is No
is
offense,
prime
Michigan.
time, and this is
the game. There's a reason this is at 8:00 on Saturday night.
That's
you
right.
know, so we'll see what happens.
So that was round one. Obviously, we'll discuss the results of that on the next show on December 30th, and we'll talk about round two.
One other thing, Terry, I know you love when I say that. All of these teams have had the benefit of 10 days or more to prepare for this football game. The same will be true for round two.
That's right. Well, let's talk about the bowl games that happen after we get the first round. So we got a collection of games from December 23rd to the 26th. I've kind of put it in stages here because it drops back down. The quality drops back down a little bit. There's a couple of games. You got Pitt in one of these games in the Game Above Bowl. You got Rutgers against Kansas State in the Rate Bowl.
That would be the one to watch. If you're asking, that's the one to watch. Rutgers and Kansas State.
So the first one, you got Myrtle Beach Bowl. That's Coastal Carolina against UTSA. You got Northern Illinois, who is the only team that beat Notre Dame in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl against Fresno State. South Florida in the Hawaii Bowl against San Jose State. Pitt against Toledo in the Game Above Sports Bowl. Rutgers and Kansas State, that's the Rate Bowl. And then you got Arkansas State and Bowling Green in the 68 Ventures Bowl. Can't believe I got all of those logos and all of those bowl games right without having to scratch my head.
Yeah, you remembered it. That was perfect. Yeah, I would say Rutgers, Kansas State, but that's just because I like both of those programs and teams. But
it'll be interesting to see which one of these teams that we don't know about is going to end up winning one of these games we don't expect them to.
I was just going to say that's the surprise of bowl season is the unexpected. But anyway, Terry, what you got next?
All right, so the next thing is December 27th. We start getting some bowl games we're really looking forward to. The first of these, the Armed Forces Bowl, we got Oklahoma against Navy. I know Navy had a good year. They beat Army. I know Oklahoma was they barely made a bowl game here, but this is probably still a mismatch here.
Yeah, so to address some things I saw on social media, there were people that thought the bowl season was just hot garbage or trash or it was shitty or whatever. These are 5 really compelling matchups if you follow college football. Oklahoma has really good defense. They've lost their quarterback to Auburn. Like you said, it's Venable's choice if Arnold plays or not. Probably won't. Navy's coming off of a win against Army. Big win, by the way. Georgia Tech, Vandy. Look at what both of them. Look at the
Birmingham Bowl. I could slide down there to the Birmingham Bowl and watch this game.
Look at what the chaos, though, Terry. Both of those teams created inside their divisions and their conferences.
They're going to have a math tournament at halftime of the Birmingham Bowl.
Georgia Tech beating Florida State, Vandy beating Alabama. Come on, Texas Tech in against Arkansas. Some really good offenses. Syracuse versus Washington State. Washington State has lost their head coach, so
and their quarterback just he's headed to Oklahoma.
Yeah, he's gone too. So not
that's
sure
the Holiday
Bowl. But that's the Holiday Bowl, and then of course you've got South Carolina South Carolina,
USC.
The other SC. You got Southern California and A&M, and I'm giving that one to A&M.
And that's the Las Vegas Bowl.
In the Las Vegas Bowl,
that should be interesting.
That'll be a really good football game. This is to me why bowl season is so important is matchups. The problem is the matchups get twisted or messed up or whatever based on transfer portal, based on graduation, based on I'm not playing because I'm going to get ready for the draft, that sort of stuff.
That's why depth is such a huge thing. If you can build depth through the transfer portal and not lose a bunch of guys, if you've got 2 quarterbacks, you are a leg up in the postseason.
Especially now. I mean, we joked about it, or didn't joke about it, talked about it 2 weeks ago. I can only speak, a lot to Nebraska and then some of these other teams. Nebraska lost its front 7, with the exception of the seniors. All of the backups, though, the rotation guys, they're out, Terry. Guess what? We still have a defense we're taking to the Pinstripe Bowl, which we're going to talk about next. This is 28.
we are going to talk about next because I'm flipping over to December 28th. And the funny thing about this, you wake up early, and what do you have on your TV? You've got a football game with 2 basketball schools at Fenway Park, the Fenway Bowl between UConn and North Carolina.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Nebraska, Boston College.
And that's at Yankee Stadium. Both of those are happening at the same time.
I'm excited to see what Nebraska can do with the new coaches because they've only had a week and a half, you know?
Right.
That's not a lot of time, Terry. I want Dana Holgerson to have a full year with Dylan Raiola, and then let's grade him. You know what I mean? Even before, you know, I mean, you can start grading him in August when they start playing football games, but I want the preparation, the weightlifting, the game film, all of that stuff before we go ahead and do it. Nebraska wins this football game. That's all I'm saying. Done, over with. What's his face? Castellanos has gone to Florida State. We didn't mention him in the transfer portal talk, but BC's quarterback is gone, and BC landed themselves a stud. And for the life of me, I cannot think.
Tulane? Is that where he came from?
Yeah, Bill O'Brien he was very highly rated, and Bill O'Brien's a very good offensive coach. So not a lot to worry about there. I'm good with the Huskers. Their defense is dilapidated. We're still going to win the football game because we drink Kool-Aid around here, Terry. And then you get the Raging Cajuns and the Horned Frogs. How much fun is that?
And that's the New Mexico Bowl, yeah. So that's Louisiana and TCU. You know that
one thing we didn't talk about with the Heisman talk, and I know we're running a little bit over, but this is unfair. Right. Cam Ward certainly deserved more than 25 first place votes, I think. I know they lost 2 games.
Killed him at the end of the season.
But that body of work that he had, though.
Yeah, and then that dropped him down to the Pop-Tarts Bowl against Iowa State.
I mean, genuinely.
This should be a very good game.
Yeah, that one should be really good. And then who do we got? Miami of Ohio?
We got the other Miami in the Arizona. No, hold on. Let me say this correctly. Miami, Ohio playing Colorado State in the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl.
There you go. Go Miami of Ohio because that's where Ben Roethlisberger came from. ECU versus the Wolfpack. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. We got a couple of Carolina schools in the
military bowl, and then you got the Alamo Bowl. BYU versus Colorado. They're in the same conference. They're in the same conference. It actually has happened in history, guys. Nebraska played
but it's also. I mean, the reason for this is Colorado's playing this as a Pac-12 school, basically.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's the Alamo Bowl.
Get a life, though. They're in the same conference. They didn't play each other this year, did they?
I guess that Pac-12 thing did kind of, the Rose Bowl has really tried to hold on to allegiances, and, man, it really messes them up with the Pac-12 going away.
Yeah, that was a big one. And then, of course, Army versus Louisiana Tech.
But that was what it was supposed to be. Marshall against Army, and Louisiana Tech had 5 wins, and they slid in to replace Marshall here. And those are all of the games. There is a game on December 30th, but we won't mention that because we're going to be doing our show on December 30th. We'll mention it the next show.
That's right. And we'll give you all of the analysis of Nebraska on that show. No offense to Auburn. They're just at home doing.
They are. We can they're planning for the big 15-16-0. How many games do you have to win to win the whole thing?
Well, if you get the bye, there's 13 to get to the conference championship is 13, and Oregon would have to win 3. That would mean 16-0, sir.
Okay. Assuming you go to your conference championship game. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're undefeated, then you're going to.
Yeah, 16-0.
Well, unless you're Notre Dame, right?
Unless you're Notre Dame.
Here's a reminder, the last reminder, because the playoffs starts Friday night. This audio is going to drop Friday morning, so get your butt to the ESPN fantasy app and join the TNA Top 10 College Football Playoff Bracket Challenge. We got several people that have joined. I've already put my picks in. And one of the funniest things I saw, and I texted you about this, Andrew, the tiebreaker for this thing is total points scored by all teams in all 11 playoff games. So you got to do
It's
some
so
math.
stupid. Yeah, it's so stupid. I am 5-0. You can find me on Nebraska Huskers Kool-Aid Man. That's me. 5-0, Terry. About to be 5-1 because my team is gonna lose.
Yeah, so that is in the regular bowl mania. If you haven't heard of the college football playoff bracket challenge, it is new for this year. So go ahead and try that out. So we are only picking the playoff games in this one. Bowl mania is still out there. Go have fun with that, but please go join the TNA Top 10 College Football Playoff Bracket Challenge.
Also, Nebraska Huskers Kool-Aid Man in the bracket challenge. You can all find me there. Tell him, Terry.
Find him in the bracket challenge. I'm in
That's
there too.
right.
I just called
Find
myself
me in the bracket
Pee-wee.
challenge.
So it should
We
be
got
obvious.
Mike, we got Al's dad, we got Heather again, we got Allison T. Weaves in there, Chelsea Devin Dallins in there, and I'm in there as the Huskers Kool-Aid Man. So you all join us, have a good time. Bragging rights are available, but only if you participate. And
That's right.
Or you can do what I do and explain why you were wrong, but you were not wrong because we were never wrong.
And you know what I just realized? You went this whole football show wanting a hippopotamus for Christmas.
I do want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Look at this schedule, though, Terry. 7 home games again for the University of Nebraska.
So that's a good reminder, though. If you listen to the football show and don't listen to the other show, please listen to both. We try to have fun with both. We appreciate anybody that votes in any poll. We haven't had a football poll in a couple of weeks, obviously, because we're in the postseason. Please search us out and follow us on social media. Maybe we'll get back on Facebook Live eventually with your help. But it's been fun. Thanks
Facebook
everybody for joining and for voting and any feedback that you have. We always appreciate it. Any final thoughts, Andrew, before I wrap this up for the night?
Merry Christmas, folks. Thank you for another great year here at TNA. Even though we're going to have one more show before the year is over, we really cannot do this without you guys. We have fun, we laugh, we cuss, we scream, we cry, we yell, because we're all football fans, and we get to ride that roller coaster together. The best part is we get to ride it with you guys, and we do certainly appreciate the voting, because I'm going to tell you what, when it was me and Terry last year, and everything was a damn tie, and then we had to take points away from each other and all this other stuff.
Oh, that was painful.
Now, with your guys' help and participation, we've had some really informed and fun discussions, and we'd like to continue doing that. Please join the bracket challenge. You can participate in the Bowl Mania with me. I'm 5-1 right now. 5-1. I'll continue to remind people of how good I am at this. As we progress and go through it, and probably get blown out at some point by some guy who just used his computer to pick everything. No offense to the engineer in the room, but yeah, you all really do have a Merry Christmas, because we won't see you before then, or until after then rather, and genuinely appreciate y'all, everybody listening and watching.
We definitely do. And as always, be a champ this week in all that you do. Merry Christmas, everybody.